Good afternoon. Welcome back to Zoology second year class. We are in the SAQs. In the muscular system, almost SAQs are completed. We discuss about the contractile proteins and the skeletal muscle structure we discussed. The next is here the skeletal system also we discussed. Under the skeletal system, the ribs we discussed, and also ribs we discussed. And the next is the synovial joint also we discussed. Here the Cori cycle in the musculoskeletal system. Once I explain the Cori cycle, afterwards I will take the next topic that is called as the neural system. Clear? Next, what it is means here the lactic acid. What is the this one means? This is the Cori cycle. Actually, this one is the Cori cycle. This one is Cori cycle. What it is means, normally the muscle is continuously the working. What will happen means it is not getting the sufficient oxygen. That time they are undergoes the anaerobic respiration. In the anaerobic respiration, which one? Instead of glucose, lactate is formed. Here, see this one in this muscle, the glucose is the less glucose is present. Here, that's why they are first form it as a lactate. That lactate is enter inside of the liver and form it as the glucose. Clear? Through the lactate, first lactate is converted into pyruvate, and the pyruvate taking of the 6 ATP and form it as a gluconeogenesis and form it as a glucose that we call as a gluconeogenesis. This one is about the Cori cycle. Clear? Next, this is with this we completed the next we are coming into the next. Already we discussed about this one pelvic girdle also we discussed. Next is the synovial joint also we discussed. Next one is the neural system. Under the neural system, next what it is there means the first the SAQ is the TS of the spinal cord. Here spinal cord TS is there. Here what it is, mainly it is all of you know this one. The brain is having the center is having the white matter is present. Outside periphery, the gray matter is present. But in the spinal cord opposite, the center here, this one is a gray matter is present. Here inside of, see here the gray matter is present. Inside of that gray matter is present. The gray matter is having the horn-like structures are present. These are called as a dorsal side. They are present. That's why we call it as a dorsal horn. The ventral side, the horns are present. That we call as a ventral horn. Means the gray matter is form it as a butterfly shape. It is form it as a butterfly shape structure, and these are having the two horns are present. Upper one is called as a dorsal horns. Down one is called as a ventral horns. Next, this one is these horns means the dorsal and ventral horns are divide the white matter into the four funiculuses. Here, dorsal funiculus, the lateral funiculus, and the ventral funiculus. Which one? The gray matter having the two types of horns are there, dorsal horn and ventral horn. These horns are divides the white matter into the dorsal funiculus, ventral funiculus, and the lateral funiculus. Here, next, I'll draw the diagram. Diagram is important in this one. No need of the matter. What it is means here the sulcus will be there. Here, what it is here this one is called as the anterior median fissure is there. Here the posterior median sulcus is there. Here means the dividing of the spinal cord is by two lines. The posterior one is there and the anterior one is there. And the dorsal horn and the ventral horn, both of them are combined and form it as a spinal nerve. Here, now the read. I will draw the diagram. I'll show it to you. See here, the center, the gray matter is present. See this one? Here I am writing as a TS of spinal cord. This is the horn, means the dorsal and the ventral horns are present like this. They are formed like a butterfly shape. This is the gray matter. This gray matter inside center, the central canal will be there. This is the central canal, and the outside, the white matter is present. How it is means, see this one. This is the like this. They are arranged surrounding. This one is like this. You draw it like this. The diagram is important for this. This is the spinal nerve. Both of the dorsal horns and the ventral horn is combined and form it as I am labeled it as this one. See, this one is the anterior sorry, this one is posterior. Median sulcus. Posterior, this diagram is important. Posterior median sulcus. Next, this line is there now, that divides that we call as the anterior median posterior median sulcus and the anterior median sulcus, and here the gray matter is present. This one is the gray matter is present. This gray matter is having the two types of horns are present. These horns we call as a dorsal side. Which one is there? That we call as a dorsal horns. Here, dorsal horn. Next, the downside, ventral side, it is also one is there, that is called as a ventral horn. This one is the central canal. This one is the spinal nerve. Here, like this. Here, this is having the two horns. They are having the roots are there from the dorsal horn, and from the ventral horns, the roots will be there, that we call as a ventral root. Ventral root, and this one is the dorsal root. Means the spinal cord, the center, the gray matter is divided into the form it as a butterfly shape or H shape, and the upper horns we call as a dorsal horns. The down we call as a ventral horns. Next, the outer side, the white matter. That actually the white matter is divided into four. This is called as a lateral funiculus. Lateral funiculus. Here, this one is a dorsal funiculus. Dorsal funiculus. This one is the ventral funiculus. Dorsal funiculus and the ventral funiculus is there. The center of the gray matter, the central canal is there. Inside of the central canal, mainly the spinal fluid is present inside of this, and that is transported to the from the central nervous system to peripheral nervous system. Here, this one is about the spinal cord structure. Listen here first. The center, you draw it like this, the butterfly shape that we call as a gray matter, and the center, the central canal, you draw it. And the next, this white matter is the lines, the two lines you draw it. The first line is called, the upper line is called as a posterior median sulcus. The down is called as a anterior median sulcus. And from the gray matter, two roots will be formed that we call as a ventral root and the dorsal root. Here, the both of them are, that means upper side, the dorsal root and the ventral root combine and form it as a spinal cord. This spinal cord opens the out through the vertebral column. Here, this one is about the spinal cord. Next is the structure of retina. Here, next, second is the retina. Here, the retina is the innermost layer of the eyeball. The first one is the eyeball is having the mainly three layers are present. They are called as a sclera, choroid, and third one is called as a retina. Three layers are present inside of the eyeball, and now the question is right about the retina. Here, what it is means, the outer is called as a sclera. Sclera comes into the front and form it as a cornea, and the choroid, that is form it as a lens. Here, next, what about the retina means, the inside of the retina, mainly the three layers are present. The what it is means, the first one is called as a pigmented layer is present. Pigmented sheet is present. Outer side, pigmented sheet is present. The down of that pigmented sheet, the layers are present. They are called as a photoreceptor layers. Photoreceptor layer. Second is called as a bipolar layer. Bipolar layer. And the third one is called as a ganglionic layer. Ganglionic layer. See this one here, the retina eyeball is having the inner layer is called as a retina. Retina outer side is covered by the pigmented sheath, and the down of the pigmented, the inside of the pigmented sheath, the three are present. They are called as a photoreceptor layer, and the second one is called as a bipolar layer. Third one is called as a ganglionic layer. Here, what it is means, the photoreceptor layer is having the rods and cones. Here, they are having the special cells. They are called as a rods and cones are present. What is the difference between the rods and cones means, the rods are having the made up of with the rhodopsin. Contain the rhodopsin. For the rhodopsin preparation, vitamin A is a compulsory. Vitamin A is for the synthesis of the rhodopsin, it is useful. Next, the cones are having the iodopsin. Iodopsin is present in the cones. What both functionally also different. The rods are functioning in the dim light time. The cones are functioning in the daytime and also color vision time. these cones are helpful. Here, the means the in the photoreceptor layer is having the two types of cells are present. What are they? Rods. Rods are working in the dim light, and they are containing the rhodopsin. For the preparation of the synthesis of the rhodopsin, vitamin A is necessary. And the next one is called as the cones. The cones are having the they are the having the iodopsin, and they are work in the daytime. Daylight are also called as the color vision time. They are working. Next, these two layers are the neural layers. Means the nerve ganglionic layer is present, and bipolar layer is present. They are supplied to the nerve impulse to the eyes. Here, this one is about these layers. I'll draw the diagram. With the diagram, I will explain this one. First is a CS of retina. Here, already I said the outside is having the pigmented sheet is present. Outer side, the sheet is present. This is the diagram is also important for this. The explanation of the retina. This one is called as a pigmented layer is present. Pigmented sheet is present, and inside of that, the number of the rods and cones are present. See this one. This is the cone cells. Cone cells are present. And between them, number of the rod cells also present. See this one here, the rod cells. Rods are present. In this one is present in the photoreceptor layer. Next, from this, the bipolar layer is present. Two poles are present. That's why we call it as a bipolar layer. Means here the two poles are present like this. Only in the cones, this one is present. See. These are the bipolar cells. See here, the middle, the nucleus is present, and like this, you draw it like this. And the next, this one, what it is? Pigment sheath. This one is the label upper one. This one is the pigment sheath. Sorry, pigment sheath. These are called as the photoreceptor layer. This layer is called as a photoreceptor layer, and the down one more layer is present that we call as the ganglionic layer. Here the one more layer is present down of the photoreceptor and the bipolar layer. After the bipolar layer, one more is present that we call as these are the ganglionated cells are present. See here inner. This one is like this. They are present. The here this one is middle one is called as a bipolar layer. Next, the last this is called as a ganglionated layer. Ganglionated layer means the inside of this. The what about the inside of the photoreceptor layers? Which one is present? The smaller cells that is called as a rods are present, and also the bigger one they are called as a cones are present. Rods and the cones both of them are present, and they are attached by the layer that is called as a. These are called as a bipolar cells are present. The bipolar cells are connected. The rods cones with the ganglionated cells. Here these are the ganglionic cells. Means the here the cone cells are attached with the bipolar cells or bipolar sheath, and that is connected to the ganglionated sheath that is connected to the center that is called as a posterior side of the retina is having the macula lutea is present. Here this is the macula lutea is present. The posterior side of the retina is having the macula lutea. In center of the macula lutea, only the cone cells are present. Cone cells are concentrated. Cone cells are concentrated. That we call as a fovea centralis. Fovea centralis. In this place only the cone cells are present. The no rod cells, only the number of cone cells are present. What is the use of this one means it is useful for the sharp vision. Means while walking, while the driving like that, the sharp images they are useful. Sharp vision time. This one is used. Which one? The fovea centralis, where it is present. Retina, the posterior side is having the yellow spot, or also called as a macula lutea. This is also called as a yellow spot. Macula lutea. Another name is called as a yellow spot. Inside of the center of the yellow spot, the structure is a that we call as a fovea centralis. This fovea centralis is having the number of concentrated cones only present, and that is useful for the sharp vision. Say this one. One more time I will explain this one. Retina is the third layer. Eyeball is having the 3 layers are present. Outer layer is called as a sclera. Outer layer of the eyeball is called as a sclera. Second layer is called as a choroid. Again, these are divided into parts. The choroid, the last part is called as a third layer is called as a retina. This retina is having these layers are present. Inside of the retina, mainly the special cells are present. They are called as a photoreceptor cells. Means they are the response to the light. That's why we call as a photoreceptor cells. There are 2 types are there. Rods and cones. Already we discussed. The rods are having the rhodopsin. Rhodopsin is present in this one. For the formation of the rhodopsin, vitamin A is a compulsory for this. And this is working in the dim light time. Here, next, what about the next bigger one that is called as a cone cells? These cone cells are having the iodopsin. Here, iodopsin. These are working under the daytime or the color vision time. In the hemophilia, in a color blindness time we discussed the impairment of the cones. Cones are not working properly. Means the cones are not recognized the red color. Here, they sometimes the cones are not recognizing the blue color. Here, tritonopia, protonopia, and deuteronopia. Protonopia means red color blindness. Deuteronopia means green color. Tritonopia means blue color blindness. Means inside of that the cones are not working properly. That time only it is visible. Means the cones are helpful in the color vision time as well as daytime vision is occur by the cone cells. Here, this one is about the TS of retina. The inside the one more. Here the optic nerve is present. All the ganglionic cells are there. Now these ganglionic cells are producing the nerves These ganglionic nerves and the optic nerve, both of them are combined and comes out to the eye. Here, that is called as the optic nerve. Here, the ganglionic cells are combined with the optic nerve. They exit out from the eyeball. Here, this one is about the retina. This is also important for the SAQ. Already we discussed about I'll draw the diagram of the TS of spinal cord, that also important. And next, this one is important. Next, we are going to discuss about the synaptic transmission. The nerve impulse is transmitted through the synapse, that we call as a synaptic transmission. What it is means, they are where it is present means this is present between the two neurons, two successive neurons. It is present between two successive neurons. The synaptic transmission is present between the two neurons, two successive neurons that is present. What about the synapse? Means the synapse means that space between the one neuron to another neuron, that we call as a synapse. The synapse is mainly two types are there. They are called as the first one is called as a electrical synapse. Electrical synapse. The second one is called as a chemical synapse. Synapse means the junction between the two neurons. For the supplying of the nerve impulse, the two neurons are joined. That place we call as a synapse. In the synapse, the upper neuron is called as a postsynaptic membrane. Here, the anterior means the first neuron, the membrane is there, that we call as a presynaptic membrane. Presynaptic membrane. The means the anterior neuron is having that we call as a presynaptic membrane, and the next one, the posterior one is there, that we call as a postsynaptic membrane. Between the presynaptic membrane of the one neuron and the postsynaptic membrane of the another neuron, the junction is there. That junction we call as a synapse. The electrical synapse, inside of that, both the membranes are closely they are linked. Here means the no need of the chemicals. That's why they are means for example, this one is a one neuron. This one is a one neuron. They are attached with the links. The links are there. For the transferring of the action potential from here to here, the links are present. They are arranged closely. The synapse, the membranes are arranged. The neurons are closely. They are arranged. Why means only the links are there. With that link, the action potential is transmitted. Here, that purpose, the electrical synapse are closely they are arranged. Next is the chemical synapse. Here, the inside of the main is the synaptic transmission means that is occur in the chemical means between the here also two neurons are present. This is the first neuron. This one is the second neuron. Between the two neurons only they are occur, but here the space will be there between the first neuron and the second neuron. Between them, the space is there. That space is called as a synapse. That is called as the gap we called as a synapse. Inside of the synapse, mainly in this chemical synapse, the chemicals are released by the synaptic vesicles. Here, I'll draw the diagram, then you can understand easily. That means the synapse means the junction between the two neurons is called as a synapse. This is synapse is two types are there: electrical synapse and the chemical synapse. In the electrical synapse, the neurons are closely they are arranged with the links. Next is the chemical synapse. Between the first neuron and second neuron, between them some angstroms of the space is there. That space is useful for the the transmitting of the chemical through the chemicals, the transmission is occurs here. I'll draw the diagram, chemical synapse. Here the mainly the already I said the presynaptic membrane and the postsynaptic membrane is there. Between them, the gap is present. That gap we call it as the synapse, or inside of that the chemicals are released. This one is the synaptic fluid. Inside of that fluid is present, and center the number of vesicles are present. They are called as synaptic vesicles are present. They are having the inside of the synaptic vesicles, number of chemicals are there. The chemicals act as neurotransmitters. See here, they are breakdown here. The chemical, the synaptic vesicles are comes here and comes to the ending of the presynaptic membrane, and they are release the chemicals. Here, next is this one is the, see this one, presynaptic membrane. Presynaptic membrane. First neuron, the layer. This one is called as a postsynaptic membrane. This one is called as a synaptic. The gap between this one is a one neuron. This is a pre-neuron. This is a post neuron. First neuron is this one, and the second neuron is this one. What will happen means the between them, the first neuron, the ending, that is a terminal. Synaptic terminals are there. Sorry, axon terminals are there. This one is a axon terminal. Axon terminal is having the number of synaptic vesicles. Bottoms are there. That is releasing of the chemicals. Here, like this, the chemicals, these are called as, this one is the presynaptic membrane. Presynaptic membrane. Sorry, already I wrote, sorry. Already I wrote this. Presynaptic membrane. And what it is here, is the synaptic cleft. Synaptic cleft. Here, next is this one is axon. Next, these are receptors. Synaptic vesicles. See here it is a one axon. This axon is having the terminal as having the bottoms. For example, I draw the rough diagram. See this one here. It is the neuron is there. Neuron is having the axon. Axon is ended with the terminal axons. This one is having the bottoms. The round structure is there. That round structure is this one. Axon terminal is having the synaptic knobs are present, are also called the bottoms. This one is a one button. This is connected to the another neuron. The another neuron dendrites. This one is a layer of the dendrites. Here, next what it is means the inside of this knob-like structure, the number of vesicles are there for the releasing of the chemicals. What are the chemicals? The chemicals are the neurotransmitter. What it is? What the neurotransmitters are? They means the mainly acetylcholine, the cholinesterase, and the GABA. Like this, number of the neurotransmitters are released here. Where here in the synaptic vesicles are having the chemicals. They are called as a neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters. What is the function of the neurotransmitters? Means they transmit the impulse. Action potential is there, that is transmitted from the one axon to another axon by the neurotransmitters only. The chemicals, major, the neurotransmitter is the acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is the major neurotransmitter that is released between the two neurons. Here, this one is the one neuron, synaptic nerve. This one is the another neuron, dendrites. Between them, the gap is there. That gap we call as the synaptic cleft. Inside what is the synapse means? I write it here. See this one. Synapse is formed by the which one is combined and formed it as a synapse? See, this is the presynaptic membrane. Presynaptic membrane. Synaptic cleft. Synaptic cleft. And the postsynaptic membrane. Postsynaptic membrane. Three are combined and form it as a synapse. Here, synapse means these three are present. Presynaptic membrane, the synaptic cleft, and the postsynaptic membrane. Combinedly, these three are combined and form it as a synaptic cleft. Here, the chemical, the synapse, what will happen? The electrical synapse, both of them are closely they are arranged. The postsynaptic membrane and presynaptic membrane. But here, not like this. Here they are changed. Here they are some space will be there between them, between the two neurons. Some space will be there. That space we call as a synaptic cleft. That synaptic cleft is mainly they are having the neurotransmitters. The neurotransmitters are transmitting the impulse from the one neuron to another neuron. See, one more time, the retina. Here, see this one here I explain about the already. We discussed now that retina, I am going to explain here. See this one. Here, the matter is here. The retina is the third inner layer. See what it is? It is the third layer. Third inner layer of the eyeball. Already I said, the how many layers are present? Outer side, the sclera is present. The second is called as a choroid, and the third is called as a retina. Here, retina is the inner layer of the eyeball. It consisting of pigmented and the neural portion. This is a pigmented portion. This one is a neural portion. The pigmented portion is the epithelial layer. This one is a pigmented epithelial layer containing the melanin. Melanin pigment is present inside of that. Next, it is present between the choroid. Already I said na, choroid and the neural layer. Between the choroid and the neural layer, this one is present. Which one? Pigmented layer. Next, the neural portion has the 3 layers are present. The neural portion is having mainly the 3 layers are present. Neural portion as having the 3 layers are there. Outer, this one is called as a photoreceptor layer. In the photoreceptor layer, already I said, the inside of the photoreceptor layer, the 2 are present. They are called as the rods and the cones. Rods and cones are present. Next, the innermost is called as a ganglionic layer. Next, the light rays pass through the ganglionic layer. It is called as the inverted retina. Means the photoreceptor layer only they are taking the light rays. That's why they pass to the ganglionic layer. That's why it is called as a inverted retina. That's called as a inverted retina. Next, next is a synaptic transmission. Okay. Already we discussed about the synaptic transmission. Just you observe here, the synapse is a junction between the 2 successive neurons. What is a synapse? Between the 2 successive neurons, the space is there that we call as a synapse. It transmits the nerve impulse from the one neuron to another neuron. What is the use of the synapse? They transmit the nerve impulse from the one neuron to another neuron. Next, there are 2 types. Already I said they are the 2 types are there. One is called as the electrical synapse. Second one is called as a chemical synapse. Clear? What's the difference between this? Means the electrical synapse, the membranes of which one? Presynaptic and the postsynaptic neurons are very close proximity. Means they are arranged, and these synapses are electrically conductive. Links are present between the 2 neurons. They are arranged, they are having the links. Clear? Next, what about the chemical synapse? Means chemical synapse, which membranes? The pre and the postsynaptic membranes are separated by the fluid-filled cavity that we call as a synaptic cleft. Between the 2 neurons, the space is there. That space filled by the fluid space that we call as a synaptic cleft. Next, the chemical messengers are called as a neurotransmitters. The synaptic vesicles, I said, synaptic vesicles are burst and release the chemical. That chemical is called as a neurotransmitters. They involve the transmission of the impulse at these synapses. For the transmitting of the impulse from one neuron to another neuron, they only transmit here. Next, the neurotransmitters, where it is released, are released from the synaptic vesicles of the axon terminal. Already I said, the one neuron axon is there. So for example, this one is a neuron. Sorry, switch. This is a one neuron is there. Simply, I'm a rough diagram I'm drawing here. The neuron is a neuron. They are having the axon. Axon terminals. The terminals means ending of the axon is having the branches are there that we call as a telodendria. These telodendria is ends with the knob-like structures. They are called as a synaptic knobs. These synaptic knobs are mainly what it is containing the vesicles. Which vesicles? Synaptic vesicles are present. They are containing the chemicals. Clear? When the impulse or action potential arrive to the axon terminal, it gets depolarized first. That is the synaptic, the knobs, they are coming now automatically. They are depolarized, means the plus ions are becomes as a minus ions are becomes as a plus. Clear? Automatically, what will happen? The voltage gated calcium channels will be opened. The depolarization is there. Immediately, the calcium ions are calcium ionic channels are opened. The calcium ions stimulate the movement of the synaptic vesicles towards the membrane. You observe that diagram, the before diagram, the ending of the terminals, they are opened. That is occur by this one only, calcium ions after the releasing of the calcium ions. They fuse with the plasma membrane, release the neurotransmitter in the synaptic cleft by the exocytosis. Clear? Next, the release the neurotransmitters, the mostly I already said acetylcholine bind to the space. Down I draw a diagram like this now. The receptors are there. These receptors are taking the neurotransmitters and the action potential also taken by this one. Clear? And on the postsynaptic membrane is having the ligand gated channels. Here the synaptic cleft here, this is having the calcium gated channels are present. This one is receptors are having the ligand gated channels are present. For taking purpose, here the ligand gated channels are present. The releasing purpose, here the calcium gated channels are present in this one. Clear? Next, the entry of the ions generated new action potential into the postsynaptic membrane. This is about the very important question. This one is the synaptic transmission. The mostly from these two lessons, from the skeletal system and the nervous system. The first, the synovial joint. Otherwise, this will among two. This one is compulsory. Which one? The synovial joint and the synaptic transmission. Almost 90% it will come into the exam. In the exam. Here, next we are going to discuss. We're going to next answer. With this, we completed the neural system. Next one is the neural system SAQs we completed. Which one we take? The CS of the spinal cord and the retina. And next is the synaptic transmission also we discussed. Next, the endocrine system. See here in the endocrine system, the first one is called as a pituitary gland. Here, all of you know this one. This is the master gland. This is the pituitary gland is the master gland. where they are located, the below the hypothalamus. Here, the brain is having the structure that is called the hypothalamus. Below the hypothalamus, they are present, and they are P-shaped structure. Why we called as a master gland means that pituitary gland is control the all the other endocrine glands in our body. That's why we call it a master gland. And it is the next what it is means it is having the three parts are present. They are called as a anterior pituitary, and the pars intermedia between middle one, pars intermedia, and the posterior pituitary. Anterior one is called as the adenohypophysis. Here, anterior one is called as the adenohypophysis. The pituitary is the having the divided into three parts. First one is called as the anterior pituitary. That is also called as the adenohypophysis. Next, middle one is called as a middle lobe. We call as a pars intermedia. And the third one is called as a posterior pituitary. This is also called as a neurohypophysis. What it is? The three parts. The pituitary is having the three parts are there. Anterior region is called as a anterior pituitary. Simply we call it the anterior pituitary. Middle and the posterior pituitary. Anterior one is called as the adenohypophysis. Middle one is called as a pars intermedia. The posterior one is called as a neurohypophysis. Next, these are secreting the hormones. It is the pituitary is the endocrine gland. They are producing the hormones. Exocrine glands are every time they are producing the enzymes and other secretions, but the endocrine glands are mainly secreting the hormones. Here, the which part is secreting the which type of hormones we are going to discuss. First one is the anterior part, anterior one, that is called as the anterior pituitary. They are producing the six major hormones. They are producing this part only, the first part only, the anterior part. That is also called as the adenohypophysis. This adenohypophysis is secreting how many hormones? 6 hormones they are secreting. And what it is means, the first one is called as a GH, or also called as a growth hormone. What is the use of this growth hormone means? It stimulates the liver cells to produce the insulin-like growth factor. What it is? The growth hormone released inside of the pituitary, they goes to the liver cells and producing the not insulin-like growth factor. Insulin-like growth factor is produced by the liver cells in the influence of growth hormone. And what it is? It stimulates the bones, growing of the bones, as well as it helps in the protein synthesis and the cell division. Here, growth hormone is released by the anterior pituitary. And what is the use of that one means? They act on the liver cells. The liver cells are producing the insulin-like growth factor. That factor stimulates the growth of the bones and the protein synthesis and the cell division. Here, next one is the second type of hormone is called as a prolactin, or also called as another name of prolactin is called as a lactogenic hormone, LTH. Here, it is helpful for the enlargement of the mammary glands. They are helpful and also helpful in the milk production. Milk production purpose, they are helpful, and also they are maintaining of the corpus luteum inside of the ovary. After the ovulation, the cell mass is there. Already we discussed in the ovary TS. The number of follicles are there. The Graafian follicles in the releasing of the ova. After that, the cell mass is there. That cell mass we call as a corpus luteum. This corpus luteum is producing the secreting the progesterone hormone. That also maintained by prolactin. Prolactin helpful for the enlargement of the mammary glands, also milk production, and also maintaining the helpful for the development of the corpus luteum, but while the pregnancy time. Next third one is called as a thyroid, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Means they are mainly helpful. It stimulates the synthesis of the secretion of the thyroid hormones, T3, T3, T4 is there na? And thyroxine hormones are there. These thyroxine hormones are mainly secreted by the influence of the thyroid stimulating hormone only. Here, what it is means, it stimulates the synthesis and secretion of the thyroid hormones from the thyroid glands. Here, thyroid is working under this one only, TSH only. Here, next one is called as fourth one is called as ACTH, adenocorticotropic hormone. In the name only there, adenocortico means adrenal gland. Adrenal gland is having the where it is present, adrenal gland, this is present above the kidney, they are present the outer side. For example, above the kidney, this adrenal gland is present. This adrenal gland is divided into two regions. Outer is called as the adrenal cortex and the inner is called as the adrenal medulla. This one is adrenal cortex. Here they are this hormone stimulate only the cortex, not medulla. Here ACTH means adenocorticotropic hormone, means cortex is stimulated. Adrenal cortex is stimulated by this hormone. It controls the synthesis and secretion of the steroid hormones from the adrenal glands. Adrenal glands are producing the steroid hormone, cortisol, like this aldosterone, like that the hormones that is secreted by adrenal cortex by this influence of this hormone only. Here, this one is the fourth one. Next one is the fifth one is called as a FSH hormone. Here, follicle stimulating hormone. What are the follicles in our body? The follicles are mainly in the females, the ovaries are present. In the males, the testes are present. The follicles are mainly developed by the help of this one only. Here, stimulate the growth and development of the ovarian follicles in female and the regulation and the spermatogenesis means that is mainly helpful in the ovulation. Ovulation means the formation of the follicles and ovulation it is useful, and also spermatogenesis in the male, spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis purpose, this one is helpful. Here, next is the sixth one that is called as a luteinizing LH hormone. It stimulates the Leydig cells, where the Leydig cells are present in the male reproductive system. Inside of the seminiferous tubules, the Leydig cells are present. These Leydig cells are mainly helpful for the producing of the androgens like a testosterone hormone. Here, the secondary sexual hormone, testosterone hormone is releasing in the influence of luteinizing hormone. They act on the Leydig cells they are producing. Here, like that only in the females, it stimulates the ovulation and the Graafian follicles, and they are producing the estrogen and progesterone hormone. The luteinizing hormone mainly helpful for the producing of the testosterone hormone in the males and the estrogen and progesterone hormone in the female. This one is mainly helpful. Next is the pars intermedia. Next, pars intermedia, we are going to discuss in the next class. Almost time is up. Tomorrow, same time, the class will be there.